Just look at that. Super rainy. My beautiful Oklahoman backyard. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and another Pokemon Go, not necessarily an update video, but just another Pokemon Go video. And as you can tell, it's raining outside, it's cold, so I can't really do much of anything, but it's a perfect time to talk about the newly announced as of this past new year, I guess, Sylph League Arena for, hey cat, Sylph League Arena for Pokemon Go PvP battles. Can I help you, sir? My cat loves getting into the video frame with me, but as you guys know, PvP was announced last month. It got released for everybody worldwide, starting with level 40s and dwindling down and so on, like they usually do with all updates. But with the release of that, the Sylph League, or Sylph Road, has created a Sylph League Arena for PvP battles and has since started the very first tournament tournament season for Pokemon Go PvP battles, which is super awesome. We've all been waiting for PvP to come out. We've all been wondering where the road of PvP is going to take Pokemon Go, and now we know we can actually have some real tournaments, real rewards, have just an awesome time with it. Can I help you? So let's first move the cat. Say hi, Hades. Hi. Anyways, let's roll that intro and get into today's video. Does that sound? Yeah? Yeah. All right. So the very first thing that we're going to talk about on today's video is what is the very first league tournament brought to you by the Sylph League Arena. And the very first one, it's a themed, every tournament, or every, what would you call it? Every month they're going to have a new themed tournament, I should say. And starting with that is the Boulder Cup. Starts from January 6th through January 31st, so it's already started. It marks the beginning of the PvP competitive season for Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go. I'm on first cup of coffee this morning, so anyways, it's called the Boulder Cup, and it's inspired by the first Kanto gym in the main series of Pokemon. If you guys remember, yeah, you guys should. If you're a Pokemon fan, Pokemon Go trainer, whatever, you should know what that is. Each month is a themed PvP tournament that provides trainers worldwide a specially designed competitive challenge and a chance to prove they are the best of the best. And as far as I know, the very first one, which happened this past Sunday, was a huge success. They had Dead Guy Plays and Trainer Tips, both at the very first one that I know of was the very first one. And as far as I know, like I said, it was a huge success. But anyways, during the Cup, local Sylph League communities host and record a special tournament. Wins and losses in this local tourney affect your player rank on local and global leaderboards, with the possibility of earning an invitation to compete at regionals and even the World Championship at 2009 Go Fest and Safari Zone. So with that, it's this road that Pokemon Go is currently driving on, thanks to PvP and the Sylph League. We're actually getting something I think is extremely awesome, and that is like an actual world championship for Pokemon Go. Which, in turn, if you think about it, it's going to make Pokemon Go more of an esport in that type of scene. which I'm not mad about. I think it's kind of cool. I think it's awesome because you already have the Pokemon trading card game. It's technically an esport. They have world championships of it, even though it's played with real cards. There is also the world championships for the online, which I play. I'm not up in that rank yet. But the point is, Pokemon Go is on that road to become an esport, which is absolutely phenomenal to me. Now, there's a list of rules for the Boulder Cup. I'm pretty sure that the majority of these base rules are going to roll over to each tournament, with the themed Pokemon type and the theme of the tournament itself are going to be the ones that, the key things that are going to be changing. The Boulder Cup has a few special rules designed for added fun and a challenge that differs from your standard PvP combat in Pokemon Go. First, all competitors will bring a team of 6 Pokemon. You create 2 PvP teams in the Great League. So you got a team of 3 and a team of 3, totaling 6. That's how it works out. I did a little bit of research on the Sylph Roads Discord and with one of my community leaders here, and discussed everything and got all the information I needed for this video. So that's team of 6 Pokemon and have them registered before the tournament begins. So say for example you have Tyranitar, Rhydon, Golem, and a couple other Pokemon. You can, throughout the tournament of that day, your community tournament, you register those 6 Pokemon and you can switch them out before each match. It's best 2 out of 3 for each person you go up against, but you have to use those 6 that you originally registered with and started with. So throughout the matches you can rotate those 6 that you pre-registered with in whatever order you want, as long as it remains those 6 Pokemon. You can't switch those out with say you have a Tyranitar that's got Rock Throw and Stone Edge. You can't switch it out for a Tyranitar that's got similar CP with Crunch and Stone Edge. Like, they'll register each Pokemon's CP, HP, both of their moves, possibly all 3 of their moves if you've unlocked their secondary charge move. So you got to keep that in mind. It's going to be all official, all legal, all registered. So only Pokemon with a max of CP of 1500 are permitted into the competition or into the tournament, which means it's only going to be played on Great League. It gives everybody a chance to participate and not be overrun by 3,000, 4,000 CP random boss Pokemon that are like god tier levels. Only Pokemon with at least one of the following types are permitted. You got Rock, Ground, Fighting, and Steel. And this means you can also multi-type or dual-type. Whichever way you want to call it, it's all the same thing. And that means you can have a Pokemon that their main type is Rock or Ground, Fighting, or Steel, but their secondary attack or secondary type can be like Water, Electric. It can also be Rock. You can have a Ground and Rock type. You can have a Fighting and a Rock type. But as long as they have one of their types is one of the not recommended, but one of the required types, you'll be good on the tournament. And with that, this brings us to the main topic of today's video, which is what is the best Pokemon to use in the Boulder Cup. See, I've got notes. I have like 4 pages of notes. It's insane. Anyways, for the basis of this video, multi-typing, dual-typing, Pokemon with 2 types in Pokemon Go is pretty much self-explanatory, but for this video, it means a Pokemon with more than 1 type. And the examples I gave you, we're going to go into that a little bit more. Snorlax, everybody has a favorite Pokemon, but for the general population, Snorlax is normal type and therefore is a single type Pokemon. Then you have Omastar. on the other hand, is water type, but also rock, so it's classified as multi-type Pokemon. So you got Snorlax, you have Omastar, single type, multi-type. Alright, so we got that covered. So, taking all that into account, what are the best Pokemon to use for the Boulder Cup? We need to look at all the Pokemon that are currently available in Pokemon Go that are able to be used in the tournament, that are allowed to be used, is the better way to go about it. And everybody, I'm seeing a lot of people at these tournaments going to be using the go-to Pokemon, which is Tyrannitars and Golems and Rhydons. That's not a bad idea, but also at the same time, it's not a good idea. And you have to look at it from very basic principle of PvP battles or any type of Pokemon battles, whether it is PvP or raid battles or gym battles, or even in the main series games, just your PvP battles there. And that's type effectiveness. Another paper. Coffee break. Love me some Folgers. Anyways, so type effectiveness is pretty much what it is. It's like it determines how good a Pokemon is at attacking another Pokemon as well as defending against another Pokemon. And these things you're going to need to take into account whenever you're doing the Boulder League or any of the future league battles. So, for example, it feels like I always use Golem, but Golem is a really good example, as well as Tyranitar. Golem, because of its multi-type with rock and ground, it is effective against flying, super effective against fire, normal, poison, electric, and rock type Pokemon, but it is also weak against fighting, grass, ground, steel, water, and ice type attacks. So you can't really necessarily rely on Golems to win you matches all the time, because your opponent is more than likely going to have really good counters against your rock type Pokemon, your ground type Pokemon, your fighting, or your steel type Pokemon in these league battles. So you got to always remember type effectiveness. Another example is everybody that plays Pokemon Go. It's everybody's favorite Pokemon to use. I don't care what you say, everybody loves using Tyranitar for a number of battles. It's both rock and dark type, which is one of the best, if not the best, to use for counters in the majority of raid battles and PvP battles, like especially going up against Mewtwo or other tier 4 raids. I mean, it's a tank, it's an excellent attacker, Tyranitar is strong against flying, fire, normal, poison, dark, ghost, and psychic, depending on the moveset, but weak against fighting, grass, ground, steel, water, bug, and fairy. Key thing to remember, type effectiveness. So, if you pit Golem and Tyranitar based on each other's moveset, Tyranitar will come out on top the majority of the time because of type effectiveness. So, with me saying all that, when choosing teams for the Boulder League, you must keep in mind what a Pokemon is not only super effective against, but also what type can kick its ass, to put it bluntly. Like, I actually have that wrote down. You have to remember that, alright? I have all this stuff wrote down for this video. But, for the bread and butter of this video, the reason you clicked on this video, actually, what are the best Pokemon to use in the Boulder Cup? And no, it is not Tyranitar. I know, it's sacrilegious, it's blasphemy, whatever. Tyranitar is not the best Pokemon to pick for the Boulder Cup. I'm sorry, it's just not. Fighting type is one of the types allowed in the Boulder Cup, and it is also one of Tyranitar's, like, worst enemies. If you've ever taken a full team of maxed out Machamps against a level 4 Tyranitar, you know firsthand that all 6 of those Machamps are going to wipe out that Tyranitar because Tyranitar is weak against fighting. So, Fighting type is one of the 4 types required, and Tyranitar is extremely weak against fighting. But if you use only fighting, beware, there's other Pokemon that can take out your main fighting type Pokemon, like Baltoy, Claydol, and a few others are also Psychic or Fairy, or Flying, which is what is super effective against fighting type. So, you've got to always remember type effectiveness. Alright, that is the theme for this video, is type effectiveness. So what Pokemon should you use then? Well, in my honest opinion, as a Pokemon Go trainer, it's up to you, honestly. It really is up to you on what you feel comfortable using for your PvP battles. I'm not going to tell you what is right or wrong. I'm just suggesting. But if you want my honest opinion, it's whatever you want to use. Whatever you think, whatever Pokemon you think you have that will be excellent at running in the Boulder Cup, by all means, go for it. But if you want help with it, just go through your list of Pokemon that are able to compete, go through their types, go through their attacks, compare them to other Pokemon that are also allowed in the tournament, and just go through there and like run your own little scenarios in your head or what have you, and just determine it from there. So another one of my opinions is use Pokemon that are not just one type. Use Pokemon that are 2 types, multi-type, dual type. So use Claydol, which is Rock and Psychic. Macargo, it's Rock and Fire. You have Omastar, which is Rock and Water, which is great for a lot of Pokemon that I see going to be used in this tournament. You also have Alolan Golem, which is Rock and Electric, if you are lucky enough to have one that is under 1500, which it is possible. You also have Alolan Sandslash, which is Steel and Ice. There's a lot of these Pokemon in this that are allowed in this tournament that are weak against ice. But you also got to remember, Steel and Ice paired together are double weak against fire type, like Macargo. So, yeah, you see where I'm going with this. You also have Forretress, which is Steel and Bug. Great contender for this tournament is Mawile, which is Steel and Fairy. So you can use Mawile against those fighting types and even against Tyranitar. But you also got to make sure that Tyranitar doesn't know Blast Burn or Fire Blast. I mean, if Tyranitar knows that and you're going up against it with a Mawile, you're just going to be screwed because Mawile's Steel. Steel is weak against fire. Even a Metagross is good for this, which is Steel and Psychic, because you got the Psychic types that can counter your Tyranitars or your fighting types. The possibilities are almost endless when picking your tournament team, but as I've been saying throughout this entire video, the important thing to remember is type effectiveness. That is the key thing to remember, type effectiveness. And just don't restrict yourself to using popular Pokemon that everyone else is using. Think outside, how I like to say it, think outside the proverbial box and surprise everyone with a random team of something that they would never expect. Because you catch your opponent off guard, like with any game, you catch your opponent off guard, they're gonna be like, how do I counter this? I don't know what to do right now. They're gonna be flustered, and it'll give you an increased winning edge. You can use that not just for Pokemon Go, but for any other type of game, video game, real life stuff. I mean, it doesn't matter. Going with that, the reason why I brought up Macargo is because I'm currently setting on a 95% Macargo and never used it for anything until PvP came out and we have these tournaments, and now it's just like, maybe that 95% Macargo that I'm setting on is possibly a sleeper Pokemon whenever it comes to these league tournaments, and it can just do a little wipe through of my opponent's teams because it's rock and fire type. I mean, some people are going to use, I see people are going to be using Steelix because Steelix is a tank, but Steelix is also weak against fire, so you throw in a Macargo that's rock and fire, hit it with a fire blast, and there goes your Steelix. I mean, that's pretty much the rundown of this. Like, what Pokemon should you use? And I'm going to reiterate that. What Pokemon are best for this tournament? Whatever you decide to use. But whatever you decide to use, keep in mind type effectiveness. I mean, it's really nobody's place to tell you what Pokemon you can use, what Pokemon are going to be best, because I could tell you that a mixed team of all 4 of the types required, with all 6 of them having dual type or multi-type with a different element for each one of them, are not going to be better than somebody else's team that are not using dual types. I mean, that other person's team could come through and wipe out your entire team and you're out of the tournament. So, like I said, I can't really tell you what Pokemon to use. It's totally up to you. But consider type effectiveness and thinking outside of the box. That's all I have for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please do drop me a like right down below. It helps me get noticed. It helps my videos get more views. It may seem like that's all I'm caring about, but I like bringing content like this, like informative content, fun content. I just love making videos for you all. So if you do like it, like I said, please do drop a like, and do consider subscribing to the channel for more information, more Pokemon Go news, Pokemon related news, and what have you. And I will see you on the next video that I come out with, depending on what it is. Also, quick reminder, Community Day starts tomorrow for those of us here in North America. So it's Totodile Community Day. I'm looking forward to getting that shiny Totodile and evolving it all the way up to shiny Feraligatr, because I love the look of the shiny Totodile family. It's super sick. I love it. But that's all I got. Remember, like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Peace. Say bye.
Bye.
Say peace.
Peace.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.